And these guys have been fantastic. We've had 100% hatch rate on them. It doesn't look great, does it? I might just lie here and stare at them all day long. I don't know what it is, but seemingly this year everybody wants pheasants. We are fully sold out of pheasant eggs all the time. And literally as soon as I put new pheasant eggs up for sale, they're gone. Which is quite incredible, really. So we've got the 2 sets of reeves. They are laying an egg a day. Our golden hen is laying probably an egg every other day. We've had some amazing hatch results, and as those chicks grow, I will show you those chicks as well. But really happy with how this is going. It's slightly sad that our grey peacock pheasant got absolutely obliterated by the male, but she also is doing well. So when our house sale finally goes through, we will build some more aviaries, we'll get her out here, and we will get a new male for her. But really happy with how this pheasantry is growing. So these are our golden pheasants. This is the cock. So he is just over a year old, and he hasn't developed his full plumage yet. If you notice just under his eye, there's a little flash of yellow. So that's his true plumage coming through. And then if he bends over, I've just noticed today there is one green feather. I don't think he's going to show you. There is one green feather. You can barely see it. It's just on the back there. But that again is his adult plumage starting to come through. And these guys have been fantastic. We've had 100% hatch rate on them. 5 out of 5. She's laying loads of eggs. Although I've just noticed that water is looking a bit gross, so I'm going to go and clean that out. We have an egg. The grass has grown so lush with the warmth and the wet weather. The boys have broken out today because I'm recharging the battery for their fence. So that's Monty, his Capulet, and for everybody that voted, this chap now has a name. So the winning name for our Jacob ram is Oberon. So Montague is called Monty, so this is Oberon, and he will probably end up being called Obi a lot of the time. But you can see how long the grass has grown. It's crazy. I don't mind them coming out when it's like this, and I'll get that battery back on. They actually don't eat a lot of grass. They tend to nibble the weeds, as you saw Obi just do. And in about 10 days time, these guys are being sheared. So I will ask the shearer if he minds being filmed. If he doesn't mind being filmed, we will get that on camera. But there are those guys, and then here are our girls. We need to go and get you some more water, don't we? So Obi will be tupped with these girls later in the year. Our 2 ewe lambs, or they're fully grown ewes now. I realised the other day when I first got Connie, these guys were quite a bit smaller, but as you can see now, they're basically the same size. And then our 2 little ones, so Ophelia, Sharon, and then Malachi is still holding onto his tail. You can see that it is very thin, very straggly, but it is not yet come off. So later today they will be moving off this patch because you can see they've grazed it quite low, and this is all the fresh grass next to them, and that's why they're screaming at me, because you want new grass, don't you? I know. And you're thinking, why are the boys on grass and we're not. But I will rectify that later today, don't worry. Today is quite exciting because I'm finally getting more flowers into the ground. It's felt like this day wasn't going to come because of frost, but finally I'm going to be putting some stuff out. So we have some cornflowers, and actually a couple of them did, yeah, here there is a bud, look, already. We have got the first of our snaps going out, so our snaps dragons. Now I did carefully, I think they've all fallen off, I did carefully label all of these with the colours. However, I think, oh, here we go, this has got MM on it, which I can't remember what that means. This has got white, so this is Potomac, this one here. So they're all going to go out. We've got some more straw flowers coming out, which are going to fill the gaps from these, and actually these seem to have survived quite well now, so maybe we've got on top of the slug situation. And then we've just got 60 glads. I've done nothing in extreme numbers this year because I don't know what's going to work, and I didn't want to pay out, you know, I didn't want to buy 300, 400 glads and then they all get mullered because the site isn't right for them. So everything kind of is done on a smaller scale. It does of course mean that profit and income and selling is also done on a much smaller scale, but I just didn't want to overextend myself. But we're going to get these into the garden today. You can see we have some ranunculus coming through, which are looking really, really pretty. Again, we haven't had any amazing blooms from these, but there's a few, and you know, they're lighting the place up. And so these are all red. The first one I noticed yesterday, this is the first little pink coming through. So again, not a crop to write home about by any means, but it's a learning process, and there'll be enough here to make a couple of bouquets, to take lots of pictures of them for next year, to advertise. And as we go through this season, I hope this garden will come even more alive. So when it comes to spacing, I've kind of erred on the side of caution because I'm fortunate enough to have loads of room. So I don't have to plant everything really close together. Now the downside of that, of course, is that when you don't have stuff close together, you don't create a canopy of leaves, which then drowns out the weeds. So there probably will be more weeding. But for this year, I just want to get going, and I just want to see how this spacing works, and then maybe next year I'll space everything a bit more tightly. So we're going to fill in the gaps between where we've lost some straw flowers. Yeah, so these haven't got the best root balls. Really, you want to pull this plug out, and this should be all rooted. But you can see that is not very good. But it's got lots of growth, so I'm just gonna plant them, and we will see how we go. Maybe there is some aphid attack under here, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not giving up, so we will just plant these terrible little plants in the ground. This is one from earlier. You can see they were just nibbled off at the stem, and that's what I'm left with, which is not very good. Well, that's this first row filled in, so we're going to do another row. I do kind of feel like I'm showing you a how not to guide of setting up a market garden, because nothing seems to be going particularly right. But maybe you can learn from that and you can see everything that I'm doing wrong and everything that's not working, and you'll be a better gardener. And hopefully in a month or so I will revisit this garden and be like, oh, you know what, it was all right. But it doesn't look great, does it? So I have to say, while those straw flower root balls were rather lackluster, I have to admit the others weren't as bad. So we have started the row of cornflowers. They've got a really nice root system. And then we've done a row of snaps down here. We put gladioli over here. And then this row will be a continuation of cornflower. We will put more snaps in here. So this is our snapdragon row. We'll have another row here, and this is where I start to realize that when you have plants at home and they're growing in a growing room, you seem to think you've got hundreds, and then you put them out and they disappear. I thought I had loads of snapdragons, and in fact I have a single blimmin' row. I've got a few more, so I've probably only got a row and a half, which is crazy because I thought I had absolute loads. I'm going to have to work on the next couple of days on this next bit of no dig, because I still have zinnias, sunflowers, globe amaranth, other amaranth, some cosmos, all to go in here. Now I've tub germinated my zinnias. I've got 3 different varieties, a Dahlia variety, Sprite mix, and then I can't remember what the mix is. I think it's like a lemon zest mix or something. And tub sprouting is basically where you just get a Tupperware towel, you put a layer of kitchen roll in there that's damp, and you just put the seeds in there to sprout. And I've used that method a lot this year because I was having real difficulties getting the seed husks off the seeds. I had a lot of peppers especially die because they grew up fantastically and they couldn't get rid of the head. So I've done that with all the zinnias. Now I was going to pot the zinnias on into pots, but I'm now thinking actually I can just direct sow them. So I can take each individual little seed that's germinated and I can pop it into the soil. I can direct sow them all the way along here. So they've already germinated, they've got that little boost, but they've not got a massive root ball or anything on them yet. So I can literally just pop them into the soil and keep them well watered, and hopefully they should grow away. It's funny how quickly your mood can change as a gardener. I know I was a bit down about those straw flowers earlier, but there's nothing quite like getting some rows of plants in and watering them to make you think, yeah, actually, this is kind of turning into a garden. My gladioli are all here. They're in 3 rows of 20, so that's exciting. But I've also found something else that I need to show you, and it's silly how excited I get about these things, but it's fun, isn't it? So I've just been watering this bed, so carrots, beets, radishes, and I made a discovery. Looky down here. Look, look. It's a beetroot. Very excited. There's a beetroot there. There's a beetroot there. There's a beetroot there. There's a beetroot there. Oh my goodness, the more I look, the more I see. Isn't that exciting? I might just lie here and stare at them all day long.